My name is not important now. It has been shed like a heavy coat at the end of a long, bitter winter. I write to you from a place of profound and unending quiet, a cold stillness that settles deep into the memory of what I once was. I write after the final, shuddering breath has left the body, a vessel I steered so poorly through the waters of life. I write while the thunder of a world I no longer belong to rolls far above my head, a distant, angry drum. I write with hands that cannot move, with a voice that is now only an echo in the vast, empty halls of what might have been. Think of this not as a letter, but as a message in a bottle, washed ashore from a place beyond all shores. This is a warning. Carried on the wind of a storm, I created myself. The pain I feel now is not of the flesh, for the flesh is gone. It is a deeper ache, a spiritual weight that presses down with the force of every wrong decision I ever made. It is the sorrow of a man who had everything within his grasp, but chose to hold only dust and smoke. My voice, as you hear it in your mind, is low and cracked with the regret of 1,000 wasted yesterdays. It is the voice of a soul that has learned the truth far, far too late, a truth I now offer to you before your own sun sets for the last time. Do not be afraid of where this message comes from. Be afraid of arriving here yourself, burdened as I am. The chill I speak of is not the absence of heat, but the absence of love, of connection, of a life lived with purpose beyond the self. I am a ghost, yes, but not of a house. I am a ghost of my own choices, haunting the ruins of a life I built on a foundation of sand. Every word I share is a stone pulled from the crushing weight on my soul, a piece of my own eternal lesson. Listen closely, for the silence that follows my words is a fate I would not wish upon my worst enemy. Listen and understand that I was once like you. My life, when I look back on it now, from this place of stark clarity, was a long and winding road that led only to this desolation. I lived entirely for myself, a king on a throne of one. My kingdom was built on the shaky ground of ego and greed. I spoke lies to those who offered me their unvarnished love, crafting falsehoods as easily as a carpenter shapes wood, never once considering the splinters I left in their hearts. I chased money with a feverish desperation, believing its green hue was the color of happiness. I pursued power as if it were the very air I needed to breathe, blind to the fact that I was suffocating the truest parts of my own soul with every rung I climbed. I forgot the small things, the quiet moments that are, in fact, the very architecture of a meaningful existence. I turned my back on the glorious painted canvas of a sunset, too busy counting the day's profits. I failed to hear the kind words offered by a friend, my ears attuned only to the sound of applause or the rustle of a new contract. The wealth I accumulated felt warm in my hand for a moment, a fleeting comfort like a sip of hot coffee on a cold day. But that warmth never reached my heart. The nights grew colder as my fortune grew larger. I would return to a grand house filled with expensive things, but it was not a home. It was a museum of my success, and I was its lonely, solitary curator. I slept in a large, empty bed and woke to a silence that cut deeper and more cleanly than any physical blade. It was in those quiet, pre-dawn hours a sliver of truth would find its way in. Things can buy you a house, but they cannot buy you a home. They can fill your table with food, but they cannot give you peace. There were warnings, of course. They are the quiet whispers of conscience, the tear-filled eyes of a loved one, the fork in the road where you know deep down which way is right. I see my mother's face, and I see myself turning and walking away, annoyed by her sentimentality. A dear friend called me in a moment of desperate need, and I told him I was too busy, my calendar too full. Now I exist where I am. This space, if you can call it that, is a colourless, soundless grey. There is no sun, no moon, only the perpetual twilight of my own consciousness. Here I feel the weight of my deeds, not as a memory, but as a physical burden. Each one a monument to a moment of cruelty or neglect. I try to shift them, to change them, to bargain with the past, but they are as permanent as the stars I can no longer see. The faces of those I hurt are my constant companions. They simply look at me, their eyes filled with a deep, bottomless sorrow. They ask for the one thing I can no longer give them. They ask for time. They ask for truth. They ask for the love I promised but never truly gave. Do not make the mistake I made. Do not wait for a catastrophic event to begin fixing the small things. This is not a sermon from a pulpit. There is no righteousness in my words, only the bitter ash of experience. This is a cry from a worn and broken heart, a desperate plea sent across the void. Let my cry move you. Let it be a whisper in your ear when you are tempted to choose the easy wrong. Let it be a whisper in your ear when you are tempted to choose the hard right. Let it be the hand that pulls you back from the cliff's edge when you take a step toward greed, when you take a step toward cruelty. I beg you, with all that I am now, to see the vibrant, beautiful world I missed. If I could have but one thing, just one, it would not be my fortune. It would not be my youth. It would be one more day, just one. A single, ordinary day. A day to spend saying all the sorries I left unsaid. A day to hold the hand of someone I pushed away. A day to perform one small anonymous act of kindness, to feel the warmth of giving without expecting anything in return. It could have lit a single candle in this suffocating darkness. Please, I implore you, live a right life. This does not mean a perfect life, but an intentional one. Live a life of small, good acts performed every single day. Keep the promises you make, no matter how small. Guard the truth as if it were the most precious jewel you own, for it is. Love clearly and without condition. Spend your time, your most finite and valuable resource, with those who truly matter. Do not squander it on the pursuit of ghosts. Save your apologies for when they are needed. Offer them freely, not for when it is already and eternally too late. Remember me if you must. Do not remember my name. Remember me as a warning sign on a dangerous road. Do this not for me, for I am beyond all help. Do this for yourself, so that your final memories are of warmth and light. Goodbye. Live right.